Oh, pro, did you see that? Pro staff, baby. Everybody, big mess. Tuckasegee Fly Shop. I'm at our Waynesville location. And I'm really excited to talk to you about this wonderful rod series by Scott Fly Rods. It's the Scott Centric. Centric's been out on the market now for a year or so. And the wonderful thing about this rod is that several of us employees own a Scott Centric model. Anything from a 4-weight to a 6-weight. I think 6 is the highest. I've got a 6. A couple of others have a 4-weight, and we can really share a lot of information with you, once again, from a practical fishing application, which I feel like is the most important thing, because when people come into the shop and we're going over rods with them, we can start talking about rod technology, and sometimes they look at us like, deer in the headlight look. And we can talk to you about how the rod actually performs. How does it fish? How does it feel when you got a fly on it? How does it feel with the streamer on it? How does it feel when you're casting into the wind? And those are things that we can certainly share with you, and that's the goal of these product reviews on the rods. We want to do it a little bit differently out there. First and foremost, the one thing about Scott Rod Company is they're all made in Montrose, Colorado. And immediately you're going to notice the quality, fit, and finish of all of their rods. Right off the bat, let's take a look at this nice, awesome rod tube. So on the rod tube itself, it has a nice aluminum frame. But on the end cap, I'm going to unscrew this here in a minute. And Justin may get a close-up later, not for sure. But on that, it's going to have handwritten on there your rod length, your model number as well. So when you purchase this rod, right off the bat, you want to register this rod within 30 days of purchase for your warranty. It has a lifetime warranty, but it goes off your rod serial number. You're going to find that rod serial number on your rod as well. I want to set this tube out of the way. Please excuse me. Excellent. So as we pick up the rod, there's a couple of employees out there in Montrose at Scott that actually they hand paint all of these on here. So you've got your rod serial number, which is important. You see it also has the Scott logo. It has the model. It has the length and the weight. Uh-oh, guys, if you fish a lot and you like to tell fish stories, you better be careful, because we have the 12-inch mark and we have the 20-inch mark. So somehow, if you're holding your rod up next to that fish and you tell somebody you caught one that was 18, but it's down here around the 12-inch mark, you're busted. That's kind of cool, though, if you think about it. If you want to do a quick measure of the fish you catch out there, it's the simple things like this that kind of get me excited about a rod sometimes. But you have just a real quick measure. But let's start talking about the rod in particular, okay? We're going to start down here toward the grip area, the reel seat. They've got a fantastic grip. It's really all blacked out on this thing too, a little bit different. They've gone away from the double locking system to a single, but they've got this amazing washer. It's actually red, so it may show up on the camera. And one of the things that Scott does, which is awesome, is your locking section here does not twist. So if you just want to zip that up on your reel, you've got it locked in for your final tightening, you're there. So there's no fumbling around, trying to find it to get it lined up. Think about low light conditions. If you're getting a super early start and you're trying to put your rod together there to trailhead and it's dark and maybe you're using a headlamp, dude, that's real simple. You get that locked up in there, get that the heel of your reel locked up in there, just simple twist, you are locked and loaded. Scott uses a top 5% of the cork available to them when they purchase the cork, and they have a couple of craftsmen and women who actually fine-tune these grips to each rod blank. So there's a nice process involved with this. So you get a fantastic grip with these rods. Make sure, as I mentioned before, make sure the rod fits your hand. This one is a 5-weight, 9-foot. We do have the fly holder right here, hook holder. All of your Scott rods from Montrose, Colorado, they're unsanded blanks. So real quickly, you're going to notice what kind of rod it is without even looking at the manufacturer. You're going to notice a Scott right off the bat. They also have your alignment dots on the rod too, which is important for me. Right there, it helps me put this thing together. Now, Scott's got a lot of technology. They have direct core technology. They got React technology. They have this cross-connect technology, and all kinds of terms they're going to throw out there to you. But let's talk about what that does. Okay, the Scott Centric is a fast action rod. The G Series is a medium action rod. Okay, so you got two separate rod series there in the freshwater lineup, medium and a fast. What Scott has done in their rod development, and they're not real quick to come out with a new rod, and I think that's important too. What this rod will do is the tip recovery on this thing is amazing. And why is that important? Well, when you go to cast your rod, their technology eliminates the rod tip oscillation. So if you looked at this under a slow motion camera per se, so if we saw this, okay, under a slow motion camera, you'd see how quick this comes back to its original starting point. So as this rod flexes, if you notice when we put this rod together, it's in a circular situation. But if the rods flex, something's got to give here. So what they have done with their technology and research is they've designed the rod, when it flexes, it's going to maintain more of that circular shape, which gives you a more accurate cast. So if you've got one shot, you're fishing a ranch out there in Idaho, and you've got yourself in position, and you get one shot. You've worked 3 hours to get one shot. You got to make it count. You can guarantee that in the hands of the proper individual, this Scott rod is going to make it happen for you. And it's because of that technology. It's important. And that's why these rods cost more money. And people ask us, hey, well, why does this rod cost more than this rod? Number one is where it's made. Number two is the technology that goes into it and the components. This is a rod, I know it's a fast rod, but it fishes lighter. In my opinion, it fishes lighter than it actually is. I have this rod in a 6-weight. It actually has a fighting butt on it because I like a fighting butt. In a 6-weight, you can get it without the fighting butt or with the fighting butt. It is the rod that I can go up Deep Creek there in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. If I want to throw a chubby Chernobyl, I can throw a chubby. I can roll cast that thing like a dream, like a champ. There was one fishing report video that I did recently, and I had to go down to a tiny little caddis. And guess what rod I was using? I was using a Scott Centric in a 6-weight. A 6-weight, for Pete's sakes, in the Smoky Mountain National Park. 15-foot leader, tip it all the way down. It was amazing. The 6-weight, in my opinion, did not fish like a 6-weight. It didn't feel like a 6-weight, let me tell you that. Very, very, it was an amazing, I'm telling you. And that's what's cool about this Centric series. A lot of the folks here in the shop have this in a 4-weight model. Love it. Great all-around rod, dry flies, dry droppers. It will do what you need it to do. They have amazing guides, and all the stuff on here is fantastic. But here's what you got to do, most importantly, is you got to come out of the shop. You've got to pick up a Scott rod. We've got to get it in your hand. We've got to let you cast it, because once you cast it, you're going to want to buy it. So we need you to come in because we want to sell you a rod. But you're going to be like us. You're really going to appreciate what Scott has done on this rod. If you want to do some distance casting, this is a rod that's going to do that for you. You can kind of tinker around with lines. You find out which rod line works for you, what's real line. I like the Infinity line on it. I'm not for sure about some of the others, but I find that the SA Infinity line does a great job for the model I have. I think it does a great job on the 4-weights as well. That is something that you would also want to consider when you're looking at a rod like this to maximize its performance. It's just like a car. You got to put the right fuel in it to make it perform right. Same way with a fly line. Also, with this, you get an outstanding warranty. You get a lifetime warranty on this rod. It is handmade in Montrose, Colorado. It's a small shop with wonderful people, made in the USA. You can't beat the quality, fit, and finish. It's one of those, Justin's going to get some close-up shots of it here in a minute, but you'll start to see what we're talking about. Every bit of this stuff is done in the shop. It's amazing what they do out there with this rod. But most importantly, in my professional opinion, use that term loosely, these rods fish very, very well. It's a lot of bang for the buck. I know they're not cheap, but you're not buying a price, you're buying a product here. And if you want quality, and you want quality performance, and you want quality fit and finish, I'm going to recommend any Scott rod, whether it's a G series, a fiberglass series, a Centric, a Sector. These are rods that you have to really truly pick up and understand how well they will perform for you. As I mentioned before, there's a rod for everybody's hand. If you want to fish the small creeks, you might want to consider a little 3-weight. But if you want to do some stuff out on the flats, there's a rod for that. And if you want to do something for streamers, there's a rod for that. And if you want to go fish Yellowstone like I did this year, dude, that 6-weight, whoo, baby. She's better than gravy on biscuits, I'll tell you that. Anyway, stop by the shop. You can see us at 3 Depot Street, Bryson City. Go by see Taylor. You can stop by and see Justin in Waynesville. It's 110 Depot Street. I know they're both Depot Streets, but it's 2 separate towns. And then Waynesville is 530 West Main Street, Silva. Also, be sure to check out flyshopusa.com for all of the Tuckasegee gear, logo stuff, as well as products there at the shop. Have any questions, you can call us at 828-488-3333. Give us a thumbs up. Tell us what you think about the Scott Centric Rod Series. Until next time, big mess. We'll catch you later.